Have you ever wondered why history's most powerful men spoke of controlling their sexual impulses as if it were the key to unlocking supernatural power? Why Napoleon Hill dedicated an entire chapter of Think and Grow Rich to the transmutation of sexual energy, and why ancient civilizations viewed semen retention not as repression, but as a sacred path to self-mastery. There's a force within you that lies dormant, waiting to be awakened. An energy so potent that, when misdirected, it can destroy dreams, relationships, and purpose. But when understood and channeled, this same force becomes the fuel to accomplish anything you desire in life. We're talking about sexual energy, not just as a physical urge, but as the most primal and creative life force in man. We live in a society that has taught us to understand desire in a completely distorted way. We've been conditioned to believe that immediate gratification of sexual urges is healthy, natural, and necessary. That repression is harmful, that frequent ejaculation is beneficial for the prostate, that masturbation is just harmless relief. But what if I told you that all of this is nothing more than social programming that keeps you small, weak, and dependent? The pornography industry moves billions of dollars precisely because it has discovered how to capture and enslave your sexual energy. It offers you empty, instant pleasure that not only depletes your life force, but creates a vicious cycle of addiction. Every time you indulge in this impulse without awareness, you are literally draining your essence, your creativity, your personal magnetism. Napoleon Hill realized something that humanity's brightest minds have always known. Sexual energy is the driving force behind every great achievement. He observed that the most successful men possessed a special magnetic quality, an inexplicable charisma that attracted opportunities, people, and resources. And he discovered that this quality was directly related to how these men handled their sexual energy. When you ejaculate, you're not just releasing bodily fluids, you're releasing your life force, your creative essence, the fuel that should be powering your dreams and ambitions. Semen contains not only reproductive cells but an extraordinary concentration of nutrients, hormones, and subtle energy that take weeks to be fully replenished by your body. Imagine an ancient warrior preparing for the most important battle of his life. He knows that every drop of his energy must be conserved, refined, and directed to the decisive moment. He doesn't waste his strength on fleeting pleasures because he understands that his survival and victory depend on his ability to remain at the peak of his power. That warrior lives within you, but he's been lulled to sleep by modern programming. Semen retention isn't about denying your sexual nature, it's about understanding that you possess a much greater power than you imagine, and that this power can be redirected to higher purposes. When you stop wasting your energy on unnecessary ejaculations, something extraordinary happens. Your mind becomes sharper, your body more vigorous, your presence more magnetic. Ancient Taoist texts speak of Jing, the vital essence stored in the kidneys and sexual organs. According to this ancient tradition, when a man conserves his Jing, he can transform it into Qi, vital energy, and eventually into Shen, higher spiritual consciousness. This wasn't just abstract philosophy, but a concrete practice that separated ordinary men from sages and masters. In the Hindu tradition, the concept of ogas represents sublimated sexual energy that bestows strength, radiance, and spiritual power. Advanced yogas practiced brahmacharya, not just celibacy, but the art of transforming sexual energy into spiritual and creative power. They understood that male semen contains the potential to create life, and that this same potential, when conserved and refined, can create any desired reality. You might be thinking this is all ancient belief with no scientific basis, but modern science is confirming what our ancestors always knew. Studies show that sexual abstinence for extended periods can significantly increase testosterone levels, the hormone that not only defines your masculinity, but also your energy, focus, determination, and charisma. Research indicates that men who practice semen retention for periods of 7 to 10 days experience testosterone spikes of up to 145% above normal levels. This isn't just a hormonal shift, it's a complete transformation in how you present yourself to the world. Your voice becomes deeper and more authoritative. your gaze more penetrating and confident, your presence more magnetic and influential. But the benefits go far beyond the physical. When you conserve your sexual energy, it doesn't simply disappear, it accumulates, intensifies, and seeks other forms of expression. This energy begins to flow into your creativity, your projects, your goals. You'll discover a capacity for concentration you didn't know you possessed. Problems that once seemed impossible to solve begin to reveal obvious solutions. Napoleon Hill called this the transmutation of sexual energy, the ability to take man's most powerful impulse and direct it toward the creation of wealth, success, and personal fulfillment. He observed that virtually all great leaders, inventors, and entrepreneurs possessed this ability, consciously or unconsciously. Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Abraham Lincoln, all these men had something in common besides their extraordinary achievements. They possessed exceptional control over their sexual impulses and a seemingly supernatural ability to focus their mental energy on their goals. It wasn't coincidence, it was the direct result of a practice that modern society has forgotten. When you practice semen retention, you're not just conserving physical energy, you're training your mind to resist instant gratification and work toward larger, more meaningful rewards. You're developing a discipline that transfers to all areas of your life: business, relationships, health, personal growth. The power of transmutation, mastering your sexual energy. But here's the crucial point. True mastery doesn't come from simply retaining, but from the conscious transmutation of this energy. You need to learn to harness this accumulated power and intentionally direct it towards your goals. This requires a deep understanding of how your mind works and how you can reprogram your unconscious patterns. Most men live in a state of constant energy leakage. They ejaculate not because they feel genuine desire, but as a way to escape stress, boredom, anxiety. Masturbation becomes an escape mechanism that prevents them from confronting and resolving the real problems in their lives. It's a temporary anesthetic that keeps you trapped in cycles of mediocrity. Think about it. How many times have you resorted to masturbation when you should have been working on an important project? How many times have you wasted energy that could have been used to solve a problem, create something new, or genuinely connect with another person? Every unnecessary ejaculation is a missed opportunity, a choice to stay small instead of growing. The journey of semen retention is, fundamentally, a journey of self-discovery. When you stop medicating yourself with instant pleasure, you're forced to confront the emotions, fears, and insecurities you've been avoiding. You uncover unconscious patterns governing your behavior and can begin to consciously transform them. In the early days of practice, you'll likely experience what practitioners call a flatline, a period where your libido seems to disappear completely. This is normal and temporary. Your body is readjusting, regaining its natural balance. It's like an athlete who stops using performance-enhancing drugs. Initially, there's a dip, but then comes a stronger, more sustainable recovery. After a few weeks, something extraordinary begins to happen. You'll notice a different energy circulating through your body, a sense of vitality you haven't experienced in years. Your mind will be clearer, more focused. Your dreams will become more vivid and meaningful. You'll begin attracting opportunities and people in a way that seems almost magical. This magic has an explanation. When you conserve your sexual energy, you raise your personal vibration. You become magnetic not only to the opposite sex, but to everything aligned with your goals and life purpose. It's as if you activate an invisible force field that attracts abundance in all its forms. And here, at this moment of transformation you're experiencing as you listen to these words, I want to extend a special invitation. If this message is resonating with something deep within you, if you feel you've finally found someone who understands the real journey of conscious masculinity, then I invite you to join this community of men who are rediscovering their authentic power. Click subscribe and hit the notification bell, because what you're about to discover in the following videos will completely transform your understanding of what it means to be a real man. Every piece of content I share here is a piece of ancient wisdom applied to the modern world, and you won't want to miss any of these life-changing revelations. But let's return to our journey. Semen retention isn't just a physical practice, it's a spiritual awakening. When you stop wasting your vital essence, you begin to perceive dimensions of reality that were previously hidden. Your intuition becomes sharper. Your ability to read people and situations expands dramatically. You develop a presence that people instinctively feel, even without understanding what it is. This happens because sexual energy is the energy of creation. It's the same force that creates life, that can create any reality you desire. When you waste it on empty pleasures, you're literally throwing away your power to create the life of your dreams. But when you conserve and consciously direct it, you become a conscious co-creator of your own experience. Ancient alchemical texts spoke of transforming lead into gold, a metaphor for transforming the lower nature into the higher nature. Raw sexual energy is the lead, powerful, but instinctual and potentially destructive. Transmuted sexual energy is the gold, refined, powerful, and capable of manifesting any elevated desire. But beware, this transformation doesn't happen automatically. Simply retaining semen without consciously working with that energy can lead to what the ancients called energetic congestion. The energy needs to circulate, be refined and directed. This is where practices like meditation, intense physical exercise, creative work, and guided visualization come in. Deep, conscious breathing is fundamental to this process. When you feel sexual energy accumulating, instead of seeking physical release, you can direct it through your breath to other parts of your body and other areas of your life. Imagine this energy rising up your spine, fueling your brain, expanding your consciousness, empowering your ability to manifest your goals. Intense physical exercise is another powerful form of transmutation. When you channel your sexual energy into activities that build strength, endurance, and discipline, you're literally transforming desire into personal power. Every rep in the gym, every mile run, every limit overcome is your sexual energy being refined into tangible achievement. Creative work is perhaps the highest form of sexual transmutation. Artists, writers, inventors, and entrepreneurs have always intuitively known that there's a deep connection between sexual energy and creativity. When you consciously direct your libido towards creative projects, you access levels of inspiration and productivity that seem supernatural. But there's an even deeper aspect of this practice that needs to be understood. Semen retention isn't about becoming permanently celibate. It's about developing the ability to consciously choose when and how to express your sexuality. It's about transforming from a slave to impulses into a master of your own energy. A man who has mastered semen retention can choose to make love with a partner without necessarily ejaculating, prolonging and intensifying pleasure for both. He can experience multiple, more intense orgasms than he ever thought possible. He becomes capable of giving and receiving pleasure at levels most men will never know. This isn't fantasy, it's a skill developed through specific practices that separate boys from mature men. When you're not a slave to the need to ejaculate, you can focus completely on your partner's pleasure, creating deeply transformative, intimate experiences for both of you. Your capacity for emotional and spiritual connection through sexuality expands dramatically. But to reach this level of mastery, you must first confront the unconscious shadows that govern your sexual behavior. Most men use sexuality as a way to avoid real intimacy, to avoid vulnerability, to avoid the inner work necessary to become whole. Sex becomes a drug that masks unhealed emotional wounds. The true journey of semen retention forces you to find other ways to cope with stress, loneliness, anxiety, and insecurity. You discover inner resources you didn't even know you possessed. You develop a deeper, more honest relationship with yourself and consequently with other people. Many men report that, after weeks or months of practicing semen retention, they begin to experience extraordinary synchronicities. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. The right people enter their lives at the exact moment. Solutions to old problems reveal themselves spontaneously. This isn't magic, it's the natural result of operating at a higher energetic frequency. When you're not constantly leaking energy through unnecessary ejaculations, you accumulate a magnetic charge that literally attracts experiences aligned with your highest goals. You become a magnet for abundance, success, and meaningful achievements. But it's also important to understand that this journey is neither linear nor easy. There will be moments of intense temptation, periods of doubt, phases where you'll question whether it's worth it. This is normal and part of the transformation process. You're literally reprogramming neurological patterns that have been conditioned for decades. Modern society doesn't prepare men for this journey. On the contrary, it offers constant distractions and encourages instant gratification. Pornography is available 24/7. Dating apps promise instant satisfaction. Popular culture glorifies promiscuity and ridicules self-control. You're swimming against a powerful cultural current, and this requires courage, determination, and an unwavering commitment to your personal growth. You're choosing a path that few men have the courage to take, but that's precisely why the results are so extraordinary. The first 30 days are the most challenging. Your body and mind will constantly test your resolve. You may experience intense erotic dreams, frequent erections, periods of irritability or restlessness. All of this is temporary and part of the purification and rebalancing process. After the first 30 days, something will fundamentally change within you. You'll begin to realize you have more energy for activities that truly matter. Your professional goals will gain laser focus. Your relationships will become more authentic and profound. Your self-confidence will reach levels you haven't experienced since your youth. At 90 days, you'll be operating at a completely different frequency. Your presence will be magnetic. Your ability to influence and inspire other people will expand dramatically. You'll discover skills and talents you didn't even know you possessed. Opportunities for growth and success will appear with a frequency that will seem supernatural. But remember, semen retention is just a tool. The true goal is to develop mastery over all aspects of your life. It's about learning to consciously direct your energy, attention, and intention to create the reality you desire. It's about transforming yourself from a victim of circumstances into a conscious creator of your own experience. Sexual energy is just the fuel. What you build with that fuel depends entirely on you. You can use it to accumulate material wealth, develop exceptional skills, create profound relationships, contribute to the world in a meaningful way, or all of these things simultaneously. Ancient men understood that true wealth isn't in what you possess externally, but in the level of energy and consciousness you cultivate internally. A man who has mastered his sexual energy possesses a wealth that no economic crisis can affect, a power that no external authority can take away, a freedom that doesn't depend on external circumstances. This is true masculine independence, not depending on anything outside of yourself to feel complete, powerful, and fulfilled. When you develop this inner independence, paradoxically, you become far more attractive and valuable to other people. You don't need external validation because you possess an inexhaustible internal source of confidence and purpose. The journey of semen retention is fundamentally a journey back home to your authentic masculine essence, uncontaminated by social programming, external expectations, or unconscious vices. It's a reconnection with the ancestral warrior who lives within you, waiting to be awakened. This warrior doesn't fight external enemies. He has conquered the only territory that truly matters, his own inner world. He has transformed his primal impulses into refined power, his raw energy into applied wisdom, his instinctive strength into conscious mastery. When you complete this inner transformation, your external life begins to reflect this new reality. People around you will notice a change, even without understanding what it is. You will emanate a quiet confidence, a magnetic presence, a natural authority that inspires respect and admiration. Professional opportunities will arise because you will be operating at a frequency that attracts success. Personal relationships will deepen because you will no longer need to use other people to feel complete. Your physical and mental health will improve because you will be working with the natural laws of your body, not against them. This isn't an empty promise or some motivational fantasy. It's the natural and inevitable result of aligning your life with principles that have governed extraordinary men throughout human history. It's what happens when you stop wasting your most valuable resource, your vital energy, and begin consciously investing it in creating the life you truly desire. The question isn't whether these results are possible. The question is whether you have the courage to abandon mediocre, temporary pleasures in exchange for extraordinary, lasting achievements. Whether you're willing to confront years of societal conditioning and discover who you truly are when you're not a slave to your impulses. The path lies before you. The choice is yours. You can continue living like most men, leaking energy through unconscious habits, seeking satisfaction in empty pleasures, remaining trapped in cycles of mediocrity, or you can choose the path of masters, of leaders, of the men who built empires and left lasting legacies. The power has always been within you, waiting to be awakened. This is just the key that unlocks the door. What you do when that door opens depends entirely on your courage, determination, and commitment to excellence. Remember, you're not just conserving, you're conserving your essence, your potential, your capacity to create miracles in your own life. Each day of practice is an investment in the extraordinary man you are destined to become. The warrior awakens, the master emerges, the conscious creator takes control of his own existence. This is your ancestral heritage, your birthright, your inevitable destiny. When you choose mastery over mediocrity, the time is now. The journey begins with a single decision. I choose to be greater than my impulses. I choose to transform my energy instead of wasting it. I choose the path of conscious self-mastery. Welcome to the most transformative journey a man can undertake. Welcome to the awakening of your true power.